All right, we're going to talk about a topic that everybody has different opinions on. How do you structure your campaigns? Is it art or a science? What are your opinions?
I think it's a lot more of a science than an art. I'm definitely a data kind of guy. I actually have a quick kind of presentation that I can walk through just for people to see visibly.
Well, if you got it, bring it out. This was unexpected. We planned this video a minute ago. What a prepared guy.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, just like campaign structure is so important actually, and it can really impact your ability to go and have success in Amazon advertising. So it's one of the first topics that I talk about, and it's one of the things that I think people do wrong most often because it's rather unintuitive, if you will. So let me just flip through this. So the way that we set up our campaigns as much as possible. So you a lot of times have to make trade-offs for time. So like I think the most important part is just understanding these principles, and I'll show you or talk to you about how to actually implement them yourself. And I'll give a little bit of some kind of escapes for you, if you will, so that if you're not willing to invest this amount of time, then do this. And so the biggest one is that our campaign structure is on a per product basis for the most part. So if I am selling, let's just say I'm selling a Christmas tree, like an artificial Christmas tree and like wrapping paper, I'm going to have those absolutely separated because the keywords are going to be completely different. There's going to be little overlapping keywords. There's different profit margin structure. You need to manage those accordingly. One might be in launch mode while another is in profitability mode. So like you need to be able to manage them independently, and campaign structure is critical, I'm telling you. So this is really important. So then people will ask variations. Yes, variations are really important. So like, let's say I'm selling a bunch of different colors or types of colors of wrapping paper. I will usually manage all those variations in the same campaigns. So it's a lot easier. The margin is usually relatively similar, and keywords are definitely similar. Cool. So the biggest mistake that we see people make with PPC in their campaign
Oh,
structure
yes.
is
Yeah,
putting
yes.
all their keywords in one campaign.
You will not get in. It'll bid on like 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like the problem is you'll put 100 keywords in there saying, hey, this is my manual campaign. I don't want to have a bunch of different campaigns to manage. But the problem is that Amazon will only deliver you for a few different keywords, especially if you have a limited budget of like, say, $30, $50 a day. Only a few of those keywords are going to be delivered. And the majority of them, I have this analogy where let's say that keywords are dogs, right? So you have a huge, like really aggressive, let's just say Great Dane, right? And then you have like a very small, like poodle or chihuahua or something like that. But you're trying to feed them out of the same dog dish at the same time. Which dog is going to get the food? The chihuahua, just bear with me, is probably not going to get any of the food. The big dog is going to get all the food. And maybe that small dog is a lot more efficient and a lot more profitable for you. And so if you put all your keywords in one campaign, the keywords that are getting or that are searched most are going to be getting the majority of the traffic, usually, assuming you have a decent bid. And so they're going to be taking all that campaign away from all your other keywords. So what we end up seeing is you have keywords in there that are like really profitable that get no spend because these high volume keywords that might not be profitable at all are taking all of the spend because they get all of the search volume.
I'm going to say my solution. I don't
Yeah.
know. I want to see if this is in your slide. So what I do is I actually do a series of structures where I'll have a $5,000 bid like budget per day, per campaign, but I cap the bids. So I know, and then now this way I'm getting every impression possible at the price point that I want. And I separate out my campaigns. And like almost on all of my campaigns, I'll have $5,000 to $10,000 budgets. You need to know what you're doing. Do not try this if you don't know what you're doing. Warning. But this is the solution to that problem. But you probably have a better workaround.
No, I mean,
$1,000 budgets.
Yeah. So we rarely are going to recommend a $5,000 budget on a single campaign.
Well, that's where I start.
But Brock's point is true, absolutely. In that, if you are okay with the results at that price point, you want as much traffic as you can take at that price point, then yeah, you should have an infinite budget, assuming that you can cash flow it. So
it's called a consideration set. actually. So they'll basically just quickly, they'll build a potential consideration set, and then it starts to work down from there. It's called like the multi-armed bandit is the machine learning algorithm. But it basically, if you're throttled by your other keywords and your potential spend per day, then now you're not even in the consideration set 80% of the time per se. So you never even get those at bats. So this is what the inherent problem is with having too many keywords with too small of a budget compared
Yeah, and
to.
I don't think that I have it in here, but the difference between so a lot of people aren't keen to the difference between budget and bid. So a bid determines where you show up in the sponsored ad result. So just if I can real quick, so the keyword toothpaste, let's just look. So on the keyword toothpaste, this is the first ad position.
Your default search engine?
No.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I'll show you the little trick. If you push A, it pops in Amazon, you hit tab and then search.
Oh, I was like, man, you're hardcore. You set your default search engine.
No. I have a lot of questions for Google still.
There's another hack for the course, you guys, how to get to Amazon fast.
So anyways, first ad position, second ad position, third ad position, scroll down a little bit. Fourth ad position, fifth ad position, sixth, seventh, and so forth. And so basically the point is that your bid is determining where you show up in each ad position. Again, ad position 1, 2, 3. So if I bid, let's just say I'm bidding $3 and this guy's bidding $2.50, I'm going to pay 1 cent more to show up in the second ad position. So the greater your bid, the better the position you show up in. But what we see is that your performance metrics can vary significantly, drastically, based on where your ad is showing up. And so if I show up in this ad position here, ad position number 3, I might have a really good click-through rate and a decent conversion rate. And if I fall to ad position number 4, even though it's maybe, let's just say, 5 cent different bid, I will have a much different click-through rate and conversion rate. So every person that searches toothpaste on desktop, I'm going to get an ad impression on this product, even if they never scroll down. And so your click-through rate on these lower ad positions is worse. So I'm getting into the details, but the point is your bid determines where in the ads, you could be showing all the way down at the bottom of page 1 down here. Or you could be showing on page 2 or 3, depending on where you're bidding. And so once you find the right bid, you find, okay, the third ad position is like the most profitable for me based on my click-through rate, conversion rate, and my bid cost, my bid amount. This might be the best ad position for me. So then to Brock's point, I want to spend as much money as I can to get as much traffic as I can at this ad position. What a lot of people will do is they say, oh, I want to get more traffic on this keyword, so I'm going to increase my bid, which may work. But the problem is now your click-through rate and your conversion rate are going to change, and it may not be as profitable, or it may not be as cost efficient for you to do that. So it's pretty important to understand the difference between ad position and budget.
Yeah, and then the most simple thing is, let's say you had 100 keywords in there and they're all profitable, and you said, I'm going to bid $1 per click, and your budget was $1. Well, of course you're not going to show for them all in one day, because you'll get that one click once, but now you just missed out on all the other ones for all the other keywords, and even that one keyword could have had much more than one click. That's what you're doing when you put all your keywords in one campaign and you don't have a high enough budget.
Yep. Yeah, and again, like, I can't iterate this enough. If you set up a manual campaign, then you have probably experienced where a lot of your keywords are not getting clicks or impressions, and that is because the high volume keywords are taking the budget, and a lot of times those high volume keywords are the least profitable. So when we're setting up PPC, we almost always, a lot of the time we set up manual product targeting campaigns. So this is where I can say, let me go back to Amazon. So go back to toothpaste and look at this product right here. So sponsored product or manual product targeting allows you to select, I want to show up here, 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 here. And surprisingly, this was a surprise to me. You can actually drive a good amount of sales from manual product targeting ads. So me personally, I've never bought anything from this section. So I was like, it
Really?
probably won't do too much.
Oh, I buy all the time because I'm one of those guys that just searches.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I spent like $2,000 on whiteboards this year.
Jeez.
The whiteboards market is hot. So let me tell you, if you want to customize, go into the little whiteboard market. It's hot.
That's cool. So people like Brock are buying from the sponsored products related to section.
Yes.
And we see a lot of good sales. So
One of my students actually, they're like, "Hey, you bought my product." Anyway,
that's funny. Anyways, the inclination, the intuition says like, well, this Crest toothpaste is getting a lot of traffic. I want to go advertise on their listing and steal that traffic away. The problem is when it's Crest, they have 1,400 reviews. You probably don't have that many reviews. And so what we see working best for manual product targeting ads is actually going and finding those ASINs that are getting some traffic, but maybe their images aren't very good. Their like value isn't very good. So the value is high on this one. A 3-pack for $9.47. Let's say that you're selling a 5-pack for the same price. Well, maybe you want to go advertise on that listing because you have a better overall value, and the customer is likely to buy your product instead of the product that they actually went and visited. We also look at review quantities or review ratings. So if I have 4.5 star and the product has 4 stars, I'm going to advertise on that one. If I have more reviews than them, I'm going to advertise on that one. And if you get enough of these ASINs that have just a little bit of volume, they're getting $5,000 to $10,000 in sales a month, then that's a good target. And a lot of times our most profitable and efficient traffic will actually come from these manual product targeting ads. So we always set up a manual product targeting campaign. This is where we go in and we're going to tell you, I want to advertise on this ASIN, and this ASIN. It works really well.
Yeah, I can attest to that. That's worked for myself very well. And you'd be surprised. So sometimes, like even going after branded competitors and their keywords, I thought I would crush it. And no, actually, I know. If somebody's looked through a branded keyword, you might suck because they actually just want that. They don't care about anything else. But you'll find out sometimes, though, that also, like you want to go up against weak competitors. So definitely that 4-star. Basically, would you pay to advertise on somebody that's better than you? No, probably don't do that then. I don't know why I thought that would work, but I guess I never asked that question to myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, the natural inclination is like, dang, they're getting a lot of traffic. I want to steal some of that away, but
you
don't. So I skipped over this part. We always set up a auto campaign, or if you already have an auto campaign running. So the auto campaign, one, you're going to get the cheapest cost per click. So it's usually going to be the most efficient traffic. Amazon just favors the auto campaign. It's going to be a really good way of getting data on what converts and what keywords you need to have in your own campaign. So one of the biggest things that I've learned by going deep into PPC is that like the problem with doing forceful launches or giveaways or full price buys, whatever you want to drive ranking, the problem with that is like you're betting on one keyword a lot of the time. So if I'm selling toothpaste, you're like, I'm going to go get ranking for toothpaste because it's the highest volume keyword, but it's always the most competitive, or usually the most competitive, most difficult to maintain. And so you spend a lot of money and you might not drive a lot of sales once you get there. You might not convert very well for that. But with PPC, now you start getting a plethora of data to understand what keywords you convert well for, which keywords you don't convert well for, which keywords people aren't even considering you for. And those, so that data plus the data of like what you do convert well for, helps you to understand what your launch strategy should be. So it's actually very helpful. So anyways, auto campaign to do mining to get really cheap clicks. Manual product targeting, you're going to get some really efficient PPC traffic. Next up is what we call our discovery campaign. So we typically go and find like 15 high and mid volume, high to mid volume keywords and that are like highly relevant to the product. And then we will put them in we have a broad match ad group and a phrase match ad group because we want to see like what keywords is Amazon going to deliver us for that are going to be profitable or really efficient traffic. A lot of the time, it's not the obvious ones. It's not toothpaste, not tuba toothpaste or whatever those main keywords are going to be. You're going to be delivering really well for like, organic minty toothpaste or whatever. because you're super relevant for it. It's less competitive. And anyways, the only way to find that out is to have Amazon deliver you for those keywords. You're going to turn off the keywords that aren't doing well, and you're going to break out the keywords that are doing well into their own manual campaigns, which we'll talk about.
I like how you said that. I want to put one thing on there that I've learned very well. You said minty toothpaste or whatever you said. What I found is that the LTV and conversion rate of the more keywords in the search term, the higher the conversion rate. Not only that though, when you actually look, like if you have anything recurring or any other type of product where you have a larger product line, you'll actually see a higher LTV per customer on those as well. So the cost is lower, the conversion's higher, and the LTV's. So that's where the gold is actually these people that take the time to write more than one word. Because if they only write one word, they really don't care about that product that much.
Yeah.
They just type in like protein, like, what? Really? Like,
right.
They just learn to like, yeah, like some people are valuable, but on average, so that's the
bodybuilder who really knows what they want in a protein is probably not just searching protein, right? They're searching whey isolate, blah, 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 protein.
Yeah. Like whey grass fed, cold filtered, unflavored bulk. And that person is going to love you for life too then. So depending on your product mix, I mean, if you're selling like something just kind of random widget, I mean, it's not that important, but if you have any type of recurring business, that's really where you want to, don't just focus on that A cost and what it does for your ranking. Think about that LTV, and you can actually measure that then too, if you do it recurring.
Nice, Brock. We set up what we call a trailblazer campaign. So this is usually like our lower volume keywords, but even still these are keywords with, 1,500 searches or less, maybe 2,000 searches or less, from a search volume perspective. And we put them in a single campaign. Now we are starting to spread this out a little bit more. So we'll have multiple trailblazer campaigns. The point is that you want to group kind of similarly searched keywords from a volume perspective in the same campaigns. Because again, if I put an aggressive dog and a meek dog, trying to
There's a dog out my window.
There you go. What kind of dog is it, Brock?
It's like a little white floofy one. Okay. Kind of like a sad golden doodle.
All right. So if you put a golden doodle next to this like vicious, whatever, Saint Bernard or something, the Saint Bernard is going to get all the food. And so we try to group the dogs appropriately. Oh, the keywords, sorry, appropriately. We put them in exact match, and this is after we've seen them deliver well in the auto campaign or the discovery campaign. So when we see a keyword, hey, this keyword has a good ACOS, it's delivering well, we are going to break it out into its own campaign. That is when we come across this trailblazer campaign, if you will. But we'll set it up ahead of time, and then. So this is where people will disagree a little bit, and based on time, you can do this differently. So the ideal scenario, assuming you had infinite amount of time, is that you have one keyword per exact match campaign on keywords over 2,000 searches a month, so that you can independently control the budget for that keyword. And so again, once you see a keyword that has 2,000 searches a month or more in an auto campaign or a discovery campaign, you're going to break it out and put it into its own exact match campaign and allow it to find the right bid, so you're showing up in the search results where you want, and then you're going to give it all the budget that it needs to spend as much money as possible on that keyword.
Why? Like, why is this a good idea?
Because now this dog, is able to roam freely and get as much budget as it needs. It's not competing, and you don't have, $1,000 a day budget competing between two different keywords, or one keyword, you should only be spending this much a day. This gives you, again, the opportunity for like maximum control over your results.
I would agree with that. One thing, I want to see what you think about this. So essentially, my theory of doing all of it is basically you'll have your campaign stats, and then that is just made up of all the stats of your individual keyword. So these are giving you an aggregate campaign level. So when you start to maybe mess with other things, your whole campaign could start messing up, where now if you change some keywords, it can mess with your whole campaign, which now mess with your other keywords. And you start tweaking stuff, you're not getting like that. If you care about this keyword, it has a lot of volume. My theory is that now you're just messing with other stuff, and you're not actually getting a pure A/B test. You're getting mixed data. from your other
Gotcha.
keywords in there. Is that kind of what your
Yeah.
the theory behind it is?
Yep. Absolutely. Nice. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my walkthrough on campaign strategy. Campaign strategy is so important because again, you could have all the right optimizations, all the right bids on all the right keywords, but if all those keywords are in the exact same campaign, only so many of them are going to be getting budget in any given day.
So do you have a campaign creation
Yeah,
tool?
I mean,
So essentially, like you're just optimizing each keyword, but you're optimizing each campaign to viral launch.
yeah.
Now that you do. Oh, so you never even know that you have all these separate campaigns. That would be cool.
Oh, I mean, I guess what are you looking for exactly?
Well, like, basically when you have a campaign, you're optimizing each keyword. But I mean, if you could make it like basically, you couldn't even tell that you were optimizing different campaigns, particularly, then it would be like as if there was no extra work to do that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, basically, what you can do with Viral Launch, so with our Kinetic PPC tool, is if you put the right naming convention in place, then you can basically set automations based on your campaign. So like any new campaign, run these automations. Then, as you're splitting out into different campaigns, it's still the automations are treating them the exact same. You don't have to create new rules for them or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, we can get into the tool and walk through that, but right now I just wanted to at least cover kind of campaign structure because it's so important and it's something a lot of people don't inherently do right.
And taking that time to set it up, it feels like you're losing time, but it's the most valuable thing you could do, because when you get this complexity as time goes on, you will lose 10 times the amount of time if you don't kind of do some thought into how you structure and name things as time goes on. So definitely worth the investment.
Yeah, again, so the way that we've set up our tool is like there is definitely investment in just getting it set up and getting your automation set up based on your logic, or you can just use some of our templates in there that are pretty easy to set up. But like in general, whether you're using our tool or not, you do need to take PPC seriously.